Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Della's Voice. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with my friend, Pauline McGuire. Pauline is a master trained at help me out here, okay, Pauline?
Neurolinguistic programming.
Neurolinguistic
So dealing with the unconscious mind.
Thank you. And you have had a lot of training in this, and your life experience and your training combined puts you in a unique position to have some really difficult conversations around emotionally charged subjects. And one of them is money. But that's not what we're going to talk about today.
Well, I actually am a financial planner on top of all that. So that's where the money aspect comes in, and having those money conversations, which can be very emotionally charged for people.
Yes. So what else is emotionally charged conversation?
Emotionally charged conversations. They can be anything for anybody. Let me just kind of, for a sec, just bring us all onto the same page in terms of the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind represents 90% of who you are. Mm-hmm. It's all the programs that run that dictate your choices, decisions, and behavior. The biggest time of, let's say, install is between birth and age 7, which is when it's all happening to you. So there can be some pretty old stuff in there. And so the unconscious mind has 19 prime directives. One of the most, or kind of biggest, most directional ones is that it wants to keep you safe. And we all think, oh, that's great, I want to be safe. However, the unconscious mind's definition of safe is in the familiar and in the known. So therefore, let's say you're trying to make some changes in your life. If you're not dealing with the unconscious mind, it's saying, no, we want you safe. We want you back where you used to be. Mm-hmm. And, so let's say, let's talk about the starting to go to the gym in the new year. And most people start out, they've got the best of intentions, and that 10% is looking to make life changes. And that happens for maybe a week or two, and then the old starts, because the 90% says, yeah, no, we're going back to where we were.
That's what I know. That's what I'm safe with.
Exactly. So in terms of emotionally charged conversations, they can be anything in your known that you no longer want. Mm-hmm. And what makes these really interesting times is that pretty much all of our known at this point in time is on hold or unraveling.
What a great way to bring us to this conversation, right? And that's where that's where I want to kind of poke your brain and see what you think of what we are going through and how it's affecting us right now in this time. And so you said something really interesting to me, and that started this conversation, was that what are we doing with this self-isolation? How is it affecting us? Because it's so new to us, right?
And I think for many people who haven't maybe done any internal work, and they don't have a great dialogue or awareness of themselves, they don't know what to think. Because what we're seeing is that what this isolation is bringing is our routines are gone. Our coping strategies for many people are gone. If you normally work out your stress at the gym, you're not going to the gym right now. Mm-hmm. I know I'm feeling the effects of not being at yoga. That's one of the ways I work my stuff out. Mm-hmm. So as as all the external stuff is temporarily falling away, what we have left are our thoughts. And for many people, they've spent a significant amount of time distracting themselves from going there.
Maybe we can go a little deeper in that. What do you mean?
We all have uncomfortable thoughts. Maybe old stuff that's raising itself for resolution, old programs. Maybe we're judging or blaming ourselves for things that we've tried to control, but if the 90% is in control, then our efforts may not be effective, and we're judging ourselves. Why can't I lose the weight? You know, I've tried so many times, and then this becomes this cycle. And so sitting with those uncomfortable thoughts and really kind of getting to the root of it and saying, what's really underneath this? A lot of that takes a lot of courage and commitment. And those are the thoughts we generally push away with, oh, let me go shopping, or let me stay busy and distracted in this very, very busy world that we live in.
Yeah. Let me have a drink.
Let me have a drink. Let me make oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yeah.
that I did last night.
Yeah.
So we all have our ways of coping. Mm-hmm. And as we get farther into this social isolation, we're kind of getting cut off from many of those. And if those were your only coping strategies, were external and outside of you, then you may be struggling right now.
This brings me to another thought. A lot of people have support groups that they attend, you know, for several different reasons. I know myself, like I have a couple of support groups for different things I'm doing in my life that are kind of canceled right now. They're not available to me. I can see how with time that might affect me. Maybe that'll prevent me from growing more in this, you know, the way I was used to. So you're so right. Yes, this is the implications are huge, right?
And we're just becoming, we can only be aware of what we can handle. And so our awareness around this is broadening. Yes, and you know what, support groups, tribes, people who encourage you to move forward and support you in moving forward, as opposed to sitting around and, you know, kind of all keeping each other, you know, in a not great space. So I think it's time for different thoughts and getting creative and saying, okay, you know what, this group is really important to me. Can we arrange a Zoom call instead?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And really making those a priority, you know, and saying, okay, I need to get, you know, there's things I want to get done. I want to stay connected, and making those the priority in our day. Because I know we've been in self-isolation now for 8 days. And the day goes like that.
Yes. Yes, it's true. It's true.
I don't know what I've done. However, I over the course of my journey, I have developed some very, very, very productive coping strategies. I'm a huge journaler. I meditate. I spent 3 hours on Zoom last night with my tribe, just kind of talking through things, and we've been getting together daily to talk about it. Not for 3 hours a day. Last night was a bit long, but yeah, so there is no playbook for what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm finding a lot of people are looking for direction. They're looking to be told what they can do and what they can't do. However, that may happen in the broadest of terms, where the government shuts things down. However, in terms of making the choices and decisions about their lives, we all need to go within to do that.
So let's explore that. What would that look like?
I'm going to put my financial planning hat on for a sec here and talk about it, because you know what, there's huge uncertainty around finances right now. People don't know if they're going to have jobs, what the government support is going to do, and you have people who are faced with the very, very real reality of not being able to pay their bills and feed their children.
Yes.
So that in itself requires new thinking. Then it becomes, okay, what's in my highest good? What's in the highest good of my family? And you know, that could be, okay, keeping the money in the bank or whatever the resources are to make sure we have food, diapers, that we have that mental buffer so that we're not living in panic and stress. And as much as we never wanted to or never planned to, saying, I'm sorry, I can't meet my bill obligations right now because the priority is my family. And those are decisions that many people are being faced with, and they are very uncomfortable decisions. And they become values-based decisions, and most people are not used to thinking about what's in my highest good. We're in this program of work, pay the bills, and now we're outside of that.
Yes, and I mean, we don't usually plan for these things. I mean, we don't.
How could we plan for this?
How could we plan for this, right? And for most people, it's live paycheck to paycheck. So we don't have a big nest. What do you call it? A nest egg?
Nest egg.
Yeah. So it can be the cause of a lot of stress, and I can definitely see that. So what do you suggest? What do we do?
So an analogy I really like to give people is your snow globe got shaken. Right? All the glitter is going around and around and around. And we're in a position where we need to be, understanding that the choices and decisions and priorities are in constant flow as we get new information. And we can only make the decisions about right now. We all want the security of knowing what's going to happen, but we don't have that. So what is the best choice and decision I can make right now? And what's driving that decision?
Can you give us an example? Can you make that a little bit more clear?
Sure. Absolutely. I'll give you actually a really relevant one. So most people, including myself, up to say a year or two ago, live in survival, fight or flight. And that's a rough place to be. I've lived there. You don't really see a lot of choices there. You just keep doing what you do. And now we're at a point where living in fight or flight is probably one of the worst things that you could do for your immune system. And we're at a point where we all really want a healthy immune system right now. So it's the choice of, do I continue to live there, or do I look to make other choices and decisions? Like I had mentioned to you that I found out yesterday that I lost a family member on Friday night.
Yes, I was gonna go there with you actually. Yeah, go ahead and
to the coronavirus. So that was a shock. I don't know anyone else in my sphere that's lost anybody, so it really was the first. It was the first real up close encounter with what, prior to getting that email, had been a global thing.
Yes.
Now it's in my home.
Now it's hit home. Yeah.
Now it's hit home.
Makes it more real to you.
absolutely makes it more real to me. And that was a very painful family dynamic. So I really had a choice yesterday of saying, I could choose to go down that rabbit hole of all the old stuff and all the old emotions, but that's not serving me. How would that serve me? So I did some journaling around it, just kind of got my thoughts on paper about, you know, how I was going to handle it in terms of communication, and, you know, really what my thoughts and emotions were around it. And they were a lot more around the family dynamic than actually my relationship with the person that passed. And understanding that, you know, I could love and respect everybody and still not allow myself to stay in a low vibing state. So I actually chose to go and do my walking meditation yesterday and completely change my state. And that's the best way for me to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pauline, I don't know how everybody feels about this, but I totally feel this, and I know we don't really talk about this too much. It is okay to want to feel okay, even though there's stuff going around us, even though there's sick people, yes, there's death, and there's this the stress of this virus that's hitting everybody. But it's okay to make yourself feel better, right? I mean, I can't really talk about this too much. It's because people need to know that it's okay to feel happy. It's okay to smile. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to dance. It's okay to sing, even with everything that's going on around us.
That is such an important point. When I talk about fight or flight, that's really giving the power to your external circumstances to dictate your internal state. And there's no control there. You know, when somebody told me probably a few years ago that I could be happy regardless of what was happening around me, I thought they were crazy. Mm. And I was in a really difficult situation. I had people sick and dying around me. And I just thought, you're nuts. How can I be happy when this is happening? And it's interesting because I just journaled on that yesterday, that, you know, kind of when I got back from my meditation, that, you know, here I was in the middle of a global pandemic. I had already lost a family member. There's so much uncertainty. And in my heart, I was in total peace and gratitude. And that's the goal, is to be happy and grateful for everything that's happening around you, and see that it's happening for you, to teach you, to bring you circumstances to work through old stuff.
Yes. And oh my God, this is such a big statement you just said. To be grateful and happy for everything that is happening around you, and to appreciate it like a lesson. Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? And for a lot of people, this might sound totally outrageous. What do you mean? What are you supposed to learn from this? What's your take on this?
There's a lot of people who are in the process of awakening to the understanding that, you know, there's a greater consciousness out there, and that we're here for a reason. You know, there's experiences to have, there's lessons to be learned, and that how we think dictates our external circumstance. You know, let's say yesterday happened to me simultaneously. Let's say yesterday happened to me 5 years ago.
What do you mean yesterday?
Yesterday when I got the news
The news,
that
okay.
this
Yes.
family member had
Yes.
passed.
Yes.
The 5 year ago me would have gone into grief and despair and drama.
And victimhood.
Oh my God, and victimhood, and the world is ending, and you know,
whose
and
fault is it?
because when, you know, drama is just trauma playing out a different way. It's just showing you, hey, there's something there to pay attention to. There's something there for you to leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have been on the phone, you know, talking to all kinds of people, talking about it, and, you know, getting that victimhood hit, and, you know, reinforcing all of the negative. And that was my water level at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, it was a shock. And I immediately went to my journal and I just said, okay, how do I feel about this? And yes, it's very sad. And I have the utmost of compassion and sympathy for, you know, his parents, his parents and his immediate family. And that, what does it have to do with me? What in me is being evoked here? Because it wasn't me that it happened to. So what is it invoking in me? And it really was. It was just a case of saying, wow, I wish the family dynamics were a bit different, but they are what they are. And then choosing to say, you know, I respect, I acknowledge, send my sympathies, and then get back up to vibrating at an emotional level, which is where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that. So those are the two examples of how it could be dealt with. And I did. I still, you know, of course it's on my mind, but I'm not in victimhood. I'm not in trauma drama, and I'm not consumed with thoughts of it. I've gotten on, and in, you know, respect and gratitude for everything. And what I don't, you know, what I don't know if a lot of people know is our emotions vibrate at different levels. So let's say you're down here in fear and panic. Those are really low vibrating emotions. And the solution?
Sorry, Pauline, for people who are not familiar with these terms.
Okay.
Can you maybe kind of define
we
it?
as human beings have a vibration, and we send that out. We project it out to the world. We pick that up from each other long before we have a spoken word. Like, you can look at somebody across, say, a supermarket and know, oh, they're angry, or you're just picking that vibe up. You know, vibe and energy.
Energy. So a lot of people are familiar with the energy. Like, that term is, I think, widely used. You can tell you can pick up on someone's energies. That's kind of okay.
Yes, absolutely. And we all know, like, you know, fear and worry and despair, and then, you know, then we're like, maybe we're hopeful now, or maybe we're in, you know, excitement and joy and gratitude. That there's a full spectrum there. And if you're in fear and worry and panic, which is where a lot of people are right now, as we're in the unknown, which the unconscious mind does not like, the solution doesn't exist there. The solution you're looking for does not exist at the same level that created the situation.
This is really good. That's really good. Can you say that again? The solution of the problem
does not exist at the same level of the problem. So if you're in fear and panic about what to do next, in terms of options and solutions and thoughts and ideas as to what your next step could be, you need to change your state.
You can't find it there. You
You will
can't
not
find it
the
when you're
answer there.
angry. You can't find it when you're stressed out, when
No,
you're scared.
no,
Okay.
you can't. And let's say you're in fear and panic, and then you throw some alcohol in it. You're going down. Answer's not there either.
Yeah.
So it's about raising it. Well, how do we do that? That sounds great, Pauline. If I knew how to do that, I would. Okay, so it's as simple as going outside for a walk, getting out into nature, into grounding, getting fresh air, not looking at the same four walls. Gratitude journal. As soon as you start to I know when I first started to work on gratitude, I can remember sitting there thinking, what am I supposed to be grateful for? Everything's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's, I was able to sit in complete and utter gratitude yesterday in the middle of a global pandemic, having lost a family member, and to be grateful for everything I had in that moment.
Do you want to go there? Like, can you give us some example of your gratitude?
Sure. We're
Because it's one of those things. Like I always talk about. I'm big in gratitude too.
yeah.
I totally believe that gratitude just brings you to a whole new level. But it's hard, as you said. Sometimes it's really hard to find something to be grateful for, because if you're not used to it, if you're not practicing it all the time, it's really hard to see it, right?
It's like anything else. It's something that we need to develop in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where I went yesterday.
Go ahead.
My first thought was that I was so grateful for all the work I have done through NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, to deal with that very, very painful family dynamic that was brought right back in front of my face yesterday. And had that happened a couple of years ago, my reaction would have been completely different. So grateful that I had done that work. Grateful for everything I've done to change my life, all the skills and tools and awarenesses. And let's be really clear. Everything you need is in front of you or on its way. But if you're down here, you can't see it. You got to get up here to see it. Grateful that here I am sitting in a beautiful home, that we have food, we have shelter, we might be a little bit bored. I'm not. I don't watch TV anyway, so.
I don't either.
Just absolute gratitude for my meditation community, the outpouring of love, and with my own community and my Facebook community, the amount of people that step forward just to hold space for me as I worked through some really confusing emotions yesterday. Because as I said, it wasn't so much grief around my cousin who passed. It was around my sadness with the family dynamics. Gratitude for my ability to manage my state and to not spiral out of control into fear and panic and grief. And that's the energy that's around us right now. Walk into a supermarket, walk into Costco. Gratitude for my son, that, he cooked yesterday. He's an amazing cook, and did the dishes, and just really gratitude for everything that's contributing to this life that I have right now. That's beautiful.
When I go through my day, there's so many things I'm grateful for. I mean, from the clear running water to the electricity in the light switch that's just so automatic. you know, just the I don't know, the flexibility in my body, the health that I get to enjoy, right? The
Things that so many people take for granted in
yeah,
our
all the
busy
time.
lives.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those busy lives are all quieting down, and it's time to go within. What do you want to have accomplished when this is over? Who do you want to be? You're being given the time and the opportunity to make the changes that you've always wanted. Nobody could ever have predicted that this would be happening in the world right now. You're seeing dolphins in the Venice canals. You're seeing animals taking back over or streets of cities that are under quarantine. Nobody could ever have predicted what's going on. And what do you want at the end of it? What do you
What
want?
do you want? What do you want this to have meant for you once it's over?
What do you want to accomplish? What is inside you that is unhealed and controlling and dictating your behavior that you are now saying enough?
Mm-hmm.
The distractions are gone. It's right here in front of me. I have no option but to look at it. Let me show the courage and strength to step forward and say, I need some help because I don't want to live with this anymore. Or I don't want to live like this anymore.
Oh, so amazing. I like you believe that this has happened all for a reason, that we needed this. I feel like we needed this. Not the virus. I don't mean that.
No, and that it's just a means. I'll give
yeah.
you a perfect example. So I'm Scottish. We're really cheap, right? So I'm flip app, price matching shopper and all that stuff.
Can you do the accent, Pauline?
Give me a minute. I'll see if I can pull it up.
Okay.
And all of this, I'm very, very aware of my community, the town of Newmarket that I live in, and how can I support, because I know a lot of these small businesses are not going to make it
Mm-hmm.
if we don't collectively change what we're doing. So could I have gone to Home Depot to get my paint? Sure. Did I choose a small local place that I paid more? Yeah, absolutely I did. And I did that very deliberately because the values I was using to make that choice and decision were not monetary. It was then about how can I best support my community.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, okay, I needed some other things, that it was too difficult over the phone to kind of say, hey, I need some of this, some of that. So I did have to go out. I maintained, really appropriate social distancing. I could have gone to Walmart, but I didn't. I went to Home Hardware.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So even in yesterday, like those are the choices and decisions. What choices and decisions can we make differently? What choices and decisions did we make that contributed to it? To mass consumerism or whatever else we see. And what kind of a world do we want to see at the end of this? Because let's make no mistake, we are the architects.
Absolutely.
We're the architects of what is right now on hold, and we are the architects of what's going to come.
Right. Right.
And I don't think that I think that we need to go within at this point in time to really get clear with ourselves on what we want,
Mm-hmm.
on what kind of a world we want to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I totally agree with you. If the way we have been has brought us to this point,
Then what do we need to change?
we need, if we're going to be any different, we're going to have to make those changes. And this is a chance for us. Like this, that's what I see. I see this as an occasion to change within ourselves.
And there's some people who are waking up and there's some that aren't.
Yeah.
They're still going to keep doing the same thing and making the same choices and decisions. Don't pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spend your energy criticizing them. That's just where they are.
Yes, absolutely.
Spend that energy saying, doesn't matter what they're doing, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
How can I do things differently?
Yes. How do you react to someone who is, you know, loading their cart with everything that's available on the shelves? Is totally up to you, right? I mean, you can react in different ways. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Here's okay. So here's let's NLP ourselves for a minute.
Let's do that.
Whenever you have a reaction to something, whatever it is, start by asking yourself, what does this have to do with me?
That's a great question.
What is it? So Joe Blow beside me is got a cart full of stuff. We've been, they're skipping the line. They're not 5 feet away from me. They're 3, right? So what does that have to do with me?
Well, Pauline, a lot of people would say, well, what it has to do with me is that that person just took all the chicken that was available.
And what did you tell yourself about that?
There's
How
not
dare
any
they?
for me.
This isn't fair. I live in lack.
Yes.
And really starting to go there.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what I tell my NLP clients. Don't come here unless you're willing to go there, because that's the crux of all this stuff. Am I telling myself I'm grateful, but then I'm going immediately to lack when I see somebody taking too much chicken because I don't think there's going to be enough for everybody? You're living in lack.
Yes. So how do you change that? Because the reality of it is he just took all the chicken that was on the shelf, so there isn't any more. So how do you change that?
In that moment, you can, ask if there's more. I go into observer mode and I say, oh, interesting. It's interesting that you've gone into lack on the chicken and you haven't said, can I eat beef, fish, right? We're down here in fear and lack. And we didn't see the other options of, oh, maybe there's some frozen chicken. Maybe I can buy a ham. Maybe I can buy some fish. We focused all our attention on lack and outside of ourselves. They took the chicken.
Yes. Yes. That, and we automatically make that person the bad guy, the enemy.
Right. And as soon as anything is outside of you, you've given your power away.
And this isn't new. I mean, it's showing up in a different shape and form, but when there's traffic and someone cuts through in front of you, that you feel the same way, like, how dare you cut in front of me, or things like that.
Exactly. What does it have to do with me? I don't feel safe. Well, what don't you feel safe about? Chances are it's got nothing to do with the car in front of you. It's something anything that's unhealed in us wants to get healed. And life keeps giving us circumstances and opportunities to address it. And if something shows up, let's say there's a safety issue, right? Like you feel unsafe. Oh, this person's way too close to me in the supermarket. And when I say, what does it have to do with you? I feel unsafe.
Right.
Okay, let's address that. But they choose not to. Something else is going to come up and it's going to cause a stronger reaction in you. And it's going to keep going like that until you choose to address it. It's trying to get your attention. And we've all been given this time right now of quiet, of peace, to hear what's going on. And so my question again is, what are you choosing to hear? We all know what we need to deal with. We all know on some level, when we get really quiet with ourselves, What are we trying not to look at?
Amazing. Yes. This is a good time to start
This is the
doing.
time. This is not a
Yeah.
coincidence.
No, no. I totally agree. This is
Yeah.
not a
So
coincidence.
what are you gonna do? Do you need to turn your ship around?
Mhm.
And a lot of people do. I did. Oh my gosh, 180-degree turn from my life, that the life I was raised to live,
Mhm.
which I now know was based in fear and lack and judgment, regardless of how it was packaged. That's what dictated it.
Yes. Um, so what is one of the first things, if someone is interested in refocusing and getting it all together, what's one of the first things they need to be doing?
Going into observer mode. So really just looking, and I do this, I do it every single day. Say, isn't that interesting that I think that? Getting really quiet with your thoughts, right? It's those random thoughts that we find too distasteful, too unacceptable, that we don't want to pay attention to. Those are the ones that we sweep under the carpet, but they're the ones driving the old behavior. You know, when we immediately go to judgment of somebody in the supermarket, what are you telling yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And we calibrate on behavior. We are each magnificent and divine human beings. That's just who we are. That's who we are by the very nature that we're human beings. Sometimes we have some behavior that does not align with that. But that's behavior. We can change behavior. And it's really when we get the merging of who we are and it's reflected in our behavior. That's when the rubber has hit the road. That's what we're looking for. So for somebody is, if your behavior is not matching what you want for your life, that you're still reacting, you're yelling and screaming when that's not what you want to be doing. You know, you want to be doing certain things, but you can't find the motivation. That's the time to reach out and ask for help. But majority of people go to judgment, self-blame. I should be able to do this. What's wrong with me that I can't commit to going to the gym or to going for a walk 20 minutes a day? What's wrong with me? And it's changing that thinking. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you, but chances are there's something in your unconscious mind that's stopping that. How about we deal with that and respect and treat you as the divine human being that you are? How would that be?
That's amazing. If someone is interested in starting this path, this self-reflection,
Yep.
You can help, can't you?
Pardon me?
You can help,
I
can't
can
you?
absolutely help.
Yes.
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 Yes. I have many skills and tools in terms of helping. So absolutely reaching out to me it's the perfect time. You have the time to do a deep dive. For others who are just beginning to think, oh, okay, maybe there's something here, you know, pay attention to what resonates with you. You know, as I'm saying things or as you're saying things, did something hit you in the gut? And you're like, oh, what did you say again? That's talking to you. The other thing I would say is play around with it, experiment, if you're in a really crappy mood and you're fear-based and you're like, how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the mortgage? My husband just found out he has officially been laid off. And that's where you are. Experiment. Go take a walk around the block and come back and see how you feel.
Oh, such simple decisions.
It lasts as long as you allow it to last. And that's the insidiousness of looking at everything else, blaming this person and blaming that person for how you're feeling. That only lasts as long as you allow it to. So as soon as you stop blaming everyone else and say, okay, I'm done with that. How can I change it? That's how you change it, by changing how you think about it.
Absolutely. This is the time. This is the time. And I think a lot of people are going to wake up. You're right. A lot of people are going to look at things in a different way. And yeah, go ahead.
And when I talked about, the universe kind of amping up and saying, okay, you were given this opportunity to address it and you chose not to. Now it's getting louder and louder. And for a lot of people, things are so incredibly loud right now. And I know for me, one of the most painful places was the getting that awareness that I can't do this anymore. Oh my God, I'm gonna get tears. Just that absolute, I can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. Whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do, because I can't do this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And being in that moment and not knowing what to do, who to reach out to. Mm-hmm. You can reach out to me.
When you just said that, it reminded me of my moment. And I think I had that moment too. I call it a spiritual awakening.
I call it a come to Jesus moment, or,
yeah.
getting your shit.
It's true. It's true. And it is that moment when you are completely tired of whatever it is you've been doing. And it's that moment of surrendering, saying, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live with these thoughts anymore. And it's amazing.
And many people get to that point, right to the edge of that point. And then monkey mind, or the unconscious mind, kicks in and says, yeah, but what are you going to do? You don't know what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And the circle starts again. So what I'm telling you is, you don't have to know what to do. Mm-hmm. There are people to guide you, people who've walked this path.
You're so right. But that's the thing. The moment you decide that that's it, you don't want that anymore, doors open up. Now, you are open.
You go from being vibrating here, which is fear and all that, to hope.
Yes. Yes.
Solutions start to show up at hope. Mm-hmm. Surrender.
And think about that. If you're watching this right now, there was a reason for you to be watching this right now. That's how I look at things, right?
Absolutely. And that's the energy, right? You were energetically drawn to it.
Yes.
We're drawn to people's energy. And I know the first time I met you, you were leading the Weight Watchers meeting I was at. And, you just resonate with somebody, and you're just like, oh, I like her, and those are your people. But a lot of us are so busy running around and filling shopping carts and avoiding how we're feeling. We're paying maybe a little bit of vague attention to it, kind of like, oh yeah, no, all the tools and resources and awareness you need are there. We're now being given the opportunity to slow down and pay attention to it.
It's awesome. I look at this as a reset opportunity.
Oh, you know what? It's interesting because I love memes, and I saw one the other day, and it was, you know, the world said, oh, there's no way we can slow down the economy and pollution and, protect the environment and do this and do that. And then Mother Nature said, here's a virus, go practice.
It's good.
Right?
Yeah.
It's, we have so much judgment around what is actually happening that we're really not seeing it. Look at all the gifts that this has brought. Family time. The conversations my son and I have had, even just with preparation, and because I don't watch the news, it's all fear-based. I mean, there's certain news outlets I watch, but you're not going to watch me watching CNN or whatever. And he would come to me and he said, okay, Mom, we need to prepare. This is happening. And I'd be like, okay, you just tell me what we need to do and we'll do it. Right. So those conversations and the interesting thing was, and because I needed to get really clear with him. I said, like, what are you anticipating? And he's like, oh, we're perfectly healthy. We just can't go outside, and we can't guarantee that what we want to get would be at a store even if we could. So then it became a quality of life discussion. What kind of meals do we want to cook? What kind of shopping? What kind of cleansing products? What do we need to stock up on? How much cat food do we have to have?
Mm-hmm.
And just getting out of the fear and just connecting and having those conversations, because I can guarantee you there are so many people around you who just may need you to take that one step ahead of them to show them the way. Because that's all we're doing, is we're just showing somebody where we've already been.
Yes. Yes. This is, and I've noticed this, and it's very interesting to me, because the moment I decided that I wasn't gonna give in to this chaotic propaganda of the news, of the media, I started seeing all positivity. Everybody around me now, all of a sudden, is doing something positive, whether it's to bring more positivity to people around them, or they're helping other people, or they're making someone smile, or they're lending a helping hand, or just listening, or people are creating Zoom meetings just for support, and people are popping up on everywhere on social media, just offering free classes, free exercise classes, free Zumba lessons, and people are having dance parties on on Zoom. So
they get it,
right?
They're one step ahead, or they understand. When we come from a place of how can I give, how can I serve,
Mm-hmm.
and how can I contribute,
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different place of, oh my God, Costco sold out of toilet paper.
Oh, thank you for saying that, because that is totally what I was thinking. So, like, that is a totally different energy, vibration than snapping a picture of empty shelves at Costco and putting that on Facebook.
And it's interesting. So another really real thing people can do is, I unfollowed quite a few people in groups as soon as this hit that just started to go there. Before it was, everything was good, it was fine, but then I started to see those types of posts. Unfollow, get it out of my feed. I go on social media to get uplifted. I want to see what amazing things people are doing.
Yes, me
and if
too.
You can't be in my sphere right now, God bless you. Do your thing. No harm, no foul, but I'm keeping my feed pure.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I make a concerted effort that what people get from me is not fear-based.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did post about the death in the family. Because I'm the first person I know that has been affected in a one-to-one thing. And it's not, I'm not the last. I'm not the first and I'm not the last. And it's okay. Here's where I went to. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that I did the healing work around the family, because this could have been so much worse. Here's what else I'm grateful for. And now I'm going out to do my walking meditation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My excuse me. My condolences for your
Thank
loss.
you.
And thank you for sharing that, because it is real. This is real. I mean, we talk about this, and it's important to note that this is real and it's happening. It is the way we are looking at it and letting it affect our personal lives, our thoughts. That's what we're talking about here.
One
So
of my
yeah.
one of my other cousins reached out to me after she saw the post, different family. And, just, the outpouring of love has been, thick and beautiful. I felt so blessed.
Mhm.
And, what I was saying to her was, like, we went through rough times. We both had terminally ill parents. And I said, like, I'm grateful for the fact that I am not doing that right now,
Mhm.
because it was hard enough dealing with a terminally ill parent, never mind worrying about this virus
Mhm.
for somebody with a compromised immune system that was in and out of the healthcare system.
Mhm.
That's what that has to do with me.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of people going through a lot of very real, very difficult circumstances, sick loved ones that they can't get to see. And it's about, how do you manage that for yourself when to you it's so unthinkable and perhaps so ugly that you don't even know what to do with it. Reach out.
Reach out. The help is there. There
The
are
help is there.
people who are trained and who can help, like Pauline.
And we serve.
Yes.
We can sit with you in your pain. We have all the skills and tools to
Mhm.
stay safe ourselves
Mhm.
and hold space for you.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know how to do that.
They don't know it,
No.
but that's why it gets modeled for them,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that they learn how to do it and they can do it for others. That's what this whole thing is about.
Um, there's gonna be this is a big shift. I totally believe it. It's a big shift.
And I
Things
think people
are,
need to ask themselves, what side of the shift are they going to be on?
yeah. Yeah.
What kind of a world, what kind of a town and a city do we want to create? What changes are we making?
Are we gonna get out of this stronger? Better? Um, with higher energy? Or
One
are
of
we going the other way?
one of the one of the things I've been, really focusing my attention on, is gracefully letting go of the known.
Gracefully letting go of the
The
known.
known, right? A
What
lot, a lot of what we have known is not gonna, it's never gonna be the same. And how do we gracefully let go of that without clinging to it and saying, okay, I understand things are different and we don't know what they're going to be yet, but you can't allow the new in if you're still clutching the old.
so true. So true. And a lot of people are being tested with that sort of thing. I'm just saying within my community of Weight Watchers, we are changing things around, and now we're leading Zoom workshops, and that's really new for a lot of people. And this is the time where you know, you need to be adaptable. We need to be more flexible. We need to allow our growth mindset to take over.
Absolutely. However, if you find that you can't do that, ask for help.
Ask for help. Yeah.
We know we need to do it, but if we don't know how to do it, or we've tried everything that we know how to get there and we can't, ask for help.
Yeah. And that's
It's there.
it. Yeah, it's there. It's there. And a lot of people are willing to help, right? There's a lot of people who want to make the best out of what we're going through. And
You know, you said you know, I forget what you called it, that moment that you had that you're just, I can't do this anymore.
spiritual awakening.
That moment of no, you know, and some people might call it a dark night of the soul. And I think that you'll find that anybody who's had their own dark night of the soul is more than willing to help.
Absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
may find they're the ones you're drawn to energetically, and that's the universe saying, go there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything you need is around you. It's been a pretty wild ride. I do want to say some practical tips. So one is really get quiet with yourself and start and may want to look and say, do I need to take a break from anybody on Facebook? Are they reinforcing the old, or are they bringing in the new? Is my entire feed about who's got toilet paper out of stock? Or is it about, oh, look what I did today. Look, I taught my kids how to cook, or I went for a walk, or here, I've got the most amazing people around me, and they're doing, you know, yoga teachers who are doing a live stream every morning so that we're all stretching. And if that's not what is bombarding you, then bring that in. Get rid of the toilet paper stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like literally flush it.
Yeah. There's a lot of joke around that right now.
It's not even a gastrointestinal virus, so that's where the crazy making comes in.
Yeah.
And if you can, just put yourself in observer mode and just say, oh, I wonder why I thought that. Or isn't it interesting that I thought that?
What does that have to do with me?
What does that have to do with me? Oh, look, that I'm totally judging that person in front of me in the supermarket for having 3 multi-packs of Kleenex. That's hoarding. Oh, what does that have to do with me?
Mm-hmm.
And just start to play around with it. The other is journaling. You know, in our lives, we project things. It's perception is projection, right? The way you see the world isn't the way I see the world. And your world is based on your experiences and thoughts, and my world is based on my experiences and thoughts. So just start paying attention. Stretching your body. That can elevate your mood. Go for a walk. Try that. If you're in a really not great place, go for a walk. Maybe listen to some music and notice that you can self-regulate. I think one of the monkey mind things that stops people is that they think that there's a magic pill. That if that's one of the biggest challenges I have with clients, is they think that there's one thing they're going to do. No, let me tell you that right now. There is not one thing. Banish that thought. That in itself, continuing to hold that thought is self-sabotage.
Mhm.
It's a myriad of things.
Yes.
And they're all going to be unique to you. Your recipe is going to be different than my recipe.
Yeah. So try all of these. Try one, try two, like try three, but they, you know, something will work.
Absolutely.
Something
And
will
how
change.
can I contribute? Am I contributing or am I not?
I like that. Service. I love
Yeah.
that.
How can I be of service?
Yes. Yes. That's amazing.
And what do I want to be at the end of this?
How do I want to come out of this? Where do I want to show up?
Yeah. You know, like I know for me, the first few days, I just was kind of letting it all unfold around me. I was like, okay, here I am in my house, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm an empath. So I pick up collective energy, and I noticed I was eating a lot of junk food. And it's like, well, that's interesting. What are you doing? And then it became, of course, look at all the energy that's around. Then it became, okay, you need to get conscious of this, because what we don't want is to come out of this 20 pounds heavier, right? So acknowledging that it's happening. Oh, yeah. How many little boxes of Smarties did you eat, Pauline? And acknowledging that, yeah, I get it. And then making a conscious choice that that behavior does not align with what I want for myself.
That's good. That's good. It's a big statement. And we all know.
We do all know. We do all know. We all know what's in our highest good.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're living, or we have been living, in a society that does not support that.
Yeah.
Fast, busy, consumerism versus slowing down,
Breathe.
going within, paying attention. So now that world is actually slowing down to help us. It's a beautiful opportunity, and I hope that as many people as choose to take advantage of it.
I love it. That is just exactly what I was gonna say. So thank you for saying that.
As soon as you make the choice and decision, the people, the resources, you'll notice something on Facebook. You'll start to follow somebody. You may not know the what and the how. You just need to know that you want something different.
And that's not important. The how is not important.
No, because the people that you will be drawn to, they know the how.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. We've been talking for about an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay.
I know. Isn't that fun? I could be talking to you forever. This is such a good conversation.
It's a necessary conversation.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and it's a special time.
Yes. Yes. And let's have more of these conversations, Pauline.
Anytime, my friend, anytime.
This is really good. It's been really good. So let's see if we can do a kiss. So you move your head to your left, and I'm going to move my head to my left, and we do one of
Social distancing kiss.
Yeah, social distancing. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Be well.
And you too, my friend.
And keep growing, right? This is, you know, while other things are slowing down, it's allowing us to put our foot on the gas pedal on some really important stuff.
Oh, on our
I have some big goals, and there's where I'm choosing to focus my attention, and I'm incredibly grateful for being given this time.
That's amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I love you. Thank you, Pauline.
Love you. Okay, you take care.
Thanks for being here, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Once again, this is Della, hoping to spark your soul. Be safe. Bye.